to be.
What a twist. And mine's Jack Dawkins, better known among me more intimate friends as the Artful Dodger. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Dodger.
For me, I think the innovators definitely is my man at the back, Mr. AD, right? Because when I used to like go on the underground, I used to see this funky super tag, and I just said, hey man, this guy wants to talk about an hour to put that up, right? Because it's so correct and neat and tidy and precise, and I could see, you know, he'd done his homework. Also, there was like crews like Chrome Angels. I think they, you know, put some milestones down. Writers like Foam, who have to give some props, definitely for the trains. You know, I've got to give him the props there. There's writers like Casby, yet again, Rio, yet again are on the train scene, and they kept it going. You know, they're really consistent. Even when there were like slumps, they were always consistent. On the walls, there were writers like myself, Ice 3, yet again Casby, London Giants. We have to give them their props because, you know, they really kept the scene going. And I think when there was that sort of rivalry, we saw it as whenever they did something good, we had to do something good. So, you know, they kept the consistency, which kept us going as well. Yeah.
It's bad to classify things in that way, but one of the ways you could possibly look at it is one of the major things between now and how things used to be is that now there are virtually no black writers in London compared to how it used to be, which was easily 50-50, considering the balance between black and the indigenous populations. You would say that they were in a majority as far as writers were concerned in the past, but nowadays it's a very small minority. And I think because a lot of them kids have continued being into rap music and hip-hop and stuff, which is totally disassociated with writing in this country. Most of the writers in this country are white acid ravers, or not necessarily druggies or anything, but people that they're into house music, or some of them are into rap and stuff, but they're not down with rap culture. They're not like German breakdancing kids, or, you know, they're not queuing up to become members of the Zulu Nation like everybody in Europe seems to be. Good luck to them, but it doesn't seem to be like that here. And I think the people that are coming into association with writing is much smaller. It's not like anyone who's down with hip-hop or whatever can naturally think, oh, I can't really rap, I can't DJ, breaking's gone, maybe I'll get into writing, because then people are not even interested in writing anymore. You know, I see kids like that seem to be down with rap, and I'm on a train or something catching a tag, and they look at me like I'm a fool. Like, who's this idiot? Look at him, you know, what the hell's he doing? And they're off to a rap concert or something, you know. So I think you've got to actually know writers, or just have a mad interest in the subject to get into it. I don't think it's anything which is just going to come along to you and think, yeah, wow, I'm now part of this subculture. What am I going to do? Am I going to rap? Am I going to write? And I think that's why it's so big in a lot of countries in Europe, because it still is associated with that. And people are actually thinking, oh yes, you know, I'm not getting fame from breakdancing anymore, I'm going to start doing trains. And it's true. I know it sounds like taking the mick or something, but it is actually true. If you go to places like Germany, you will see that these people are actually totally, fully into what they consider to be rap, hip-hop culture. And if they don't do one aspect, they'll do the other, or maybe they'll do all of them.
Is the London departure of the writing scene away from a strong cultural base such as rap music a factor in its isolation?
Anyone who's being taken in by the music into that culture in them countries is instantly in contact with writing, and that's a mass amount of people. Whereas here, anyone coming into the contact with that isn't in contact with writing. It doesn't exist within that scene anymore. And I think that's why it's small, and I think that's why it will stay small, you know? Because I don't think it's anything original for everyone to start walking around thinking, oh, look at the graffiti, I want to get down with this, and just start doing it, because it's so hard for them to find out, you know, how to get involved, or, you know, there's not magazines and stuff in this country in a way that there is a few, but nothing really of consequence at the moment. Graphitism is beginning to improve as a magazine, and the Real Estate is another magazine which is beginning to get somewhere, but they haven't got the exposure of European magazines. People are not getting the exposure to writing, and therefore are not getting into it. Right? And that's my opinion, but it might not be right, but that's what I think.
With our substandard paint and lack of general awareness concerning the true nature of writing, how do European writers view us?
They think we're shit, basically. They don't think we're any good at all. They think we're bad technicians. Partly because we are, and don't really care, and also because we have the wackest paint that I've ever come across in any country I've travelled to outside of Belize or, you know, Bulgaria or somewhere like that. Actually, got some nice shades of orange in Belize. No. Yeah, they think we're whack. They don't understand anything that goes down here. They don't understand the environment in which we live, the circumstances in which we live, and they don't understand any of it, basically. They can't see, you know, why we're not just headspin, breakdance, kings of the graffiti underworld, you know? Especially as we're, as far as any other European country is concerned, with having such a large black population, would be the automatic place that real rap culture would necessarily have grown up. To an extent it hasn't, or it's moved along parallel to New York or somewhere. People are following the, you know, like the sort of R&B bands that are coming up in the States and that now, and they're moving in that direction rather than, you know, still spinning on their heads and, you know, like, you know, pretending they're in New York 20 years ago. And I think they look at us and they think, oh, but they could be, you know, hip-hop kings, and why are they not? And they don't understand. They meet writers from here that are like, you know, acid rave freaks and drug addicts, and you know, they just think, oh, they are fools, they are nothing, they don't know nothing, you know, and they don't realise that's just real people. That's writers from New York, headbangers and nutcases and junkies and murderers and just, you know, homeless people now. Some of the kings of New York walk around in New York homeless. The most famous writers that ever rode the New York subway or done anything. Some of them people have got nothing now. You know, they don't sit in the Bronx sort of wearing fat laces and going yo to everybody, you know. And, you know, basically, going back to the original question of what do they think of us, I think they look at us as failures, that we never achieved that we never became part of this thing that they think they're part of, or that they're now trying to take over as theirs, you know. So they don't think much of us, and we think very little of them.
With the world fast becoming smaller due to the technological developments in communication, and the aerosol kingdom thriving on the international grapevine through the worldwide distribution of books, magazines, videos and photos due to writers travelling abroad and meeting each other, the planet itself is fast becoming an aerosol island, where the original aim of getting your name all over can be taken to the extreme.
Tokyo, Mexico, we went to the places where the people told us not to go. We're on a world tour, spray painting, you know. We're going each and every place, including Spain, Asia, Africa, Tokyo, Mexico. We went to the places where the people told us not to go. We're on a world tour, spray painting, you know. We're going each and every place, including Spain, Asia, Africa, Tokyo, Mexico. We went to the places where the people told us not to go. We're on a world
One and Drax are two of the many writers from Britain who have had the opportunity to travel to other countries within the aerosol kingdom and have learnt much from their experiences.
Basically, I've been to Strasbourg, done a couple of commissions out there with like London Union of Youth Clubs. They got that sorted out for me, which was nice. I went to Denmark, which I saved up money to go to, and I painted out there. I've done some trains out there. I just basically like came to place, but and then I went to. I've been to Scotland a few times to a good like graph project thing they got up in there in Livingston, and it's really good because like at the end of the day they pay for your fares, they pay for your paint, and they give you the wall space, and they sort you out.
I've painted in a lot of countries. I painted in New York, which was some kind of like, I would say, a form of a pilgrimage, basically to what is basically the mecca of graffiti art, aerosol art, writing. You know, where it comes from. That is like, you're there, you're doing it where it was done, where it's meant to be done, where it means more than anywhere else in the world, where it's culture and history and everything. And I just felt proud to have been involved in that and to have painted.